Alrighty, here we are, getting ready to mow some hay, but I'm flying the drone over. That Ziegler Lake is back there. Finally did get it planted. Had to go back and dig up about 100 foot with the backhoe. The tile and a bunch of it was just plugged completely full of tree roots, and so we finally got it to drain down enough. It just was not draining. We did, everything else, the corn was rolling up, but there was still water standing there. Probably 2 acres of water still standing back there, so we had to finally do something about it because it was not going to drain on its own. So this fall or winter, we're going to have to go lay another piece of tile in there to away from the trees a little more, just so that it doesn't get plugged up with roots again. But anyway, out mowing here. This is Monday, July 10th. I was mowing. It's a little heavier than I thought it was going to be. I was thinking I was only going to have like 70 or 80 bales off the whole field, and I'll probably end up at 120 or so. It was a little thicker than I thought it was in some spots, especially on the north side. This is the north side of the field right here that I'm mowing on. The road is the south side, and it must have just grew a little better. But you can see the wind's really blowing there. It's a good day for drying. I'm recording this. This is Tuesday evening, and it was great then. And they just had a chance of scattered thunderstorms, and I mowed it, and it actually got rained on this morning, which would be Tuesday morning. We actually had 1.6 inches, which I was very thankful for. I'll take the hay getting rained on, and get that much rain out of it. It was kind of humid, and this is about mid-afternoon, or probably about 2 o'clock or so in mid-afternoon, but it hadn't dried that much because we'd also had a shower here Monday morning, and so I don't think it'll hurt it too much. Late tomorrow afternoon I'll probably go ted it and then bale it Thursday. That's a pretty good spot right there because it's coming up a little bit on that front push bar on the mower. I don't know if it's so dry or what, but it was kind of rough this time. Something had been digging out in the field. There were a bunch of groundhogs or gophers or something out and digging in the field. Wasn't the smoothest ride I'd had on that field. And there you can see it really drops back off. It's pretty thin. And the water never stands in this corner, but the ground must stay wet enough because it killed all the alfalfa off, and it never likes to grow back right there. So that's just the way it is. There's usually something for first cutting in the grass, but everything else, it just never grows up much. And it looks that way with the neighbor's beans right there in the corner. It's kind of more concentrated on watching the drone and holding on to the controller than I was shifting the tractor there. I need to build a little bracket or something to hold the controller. Now I'm going to back mow it here. Trying a few different things on the corners here to get them mowed out a little better. When the crop's not up, it's never a problem because I can just pull out down between the rows of the crop or when it's first cutting, to get it to straddle the rows and then run the mower right up to the edge of the crop. It can't do that once the crop's up, and so it takes a little more to get the corners mowed out. I was running in the third direct wide open here. Or it'd be high third in 1800 because I only got 2-speed power shift. Doesn't have the over under. The corn is definitely shorter this year than I've ever seen it, and the beans aren't real tall either. So I don't know how it's going to affect their yield, but I bet it probably won't be good for it. Here we go. I pull out in the corn a little bit because corn's kind of short there at the beginning, but then back up. After watching this video, what I do here in this next corner after this one is probably what I'll end up doing. I like that the best. Because the mower's kind of slow to come around there. If you see me squiggle a little bit, it's because I was watching the drone or trying to mess the controller or something. And you see I kind of swung out here and swung past, and this seemed to work pretty good. And then back into the corner, and you can get most of it that way. Set it down and away I go. Probably going to end up baling this at the New Holland 67 baler again because the 710 is still up at Grandpa's to bale the oat straw whenever. Once I get this baled, that'll be the next thing I do is do the oat straw. It'll had grand plans yesterday morning on getting this baled and having the oats cut and the oats baled by Wednesday evening, but the weather did not permit that happening. And you want the oats good and dry, since I'm just going to put them in a wagon. I really ought to get one of them screw fans, but you stick down in the wagon, but I don't know, I just never thought about it too much. When I first was starting in, I thought about leaving it choked together and I'd just make a real tight windrow because it wasn't going to be a trouble any trouble getting it dry, but I'm sure glad I opened those chutes back up on the back, because since it got rained on today, but that's the way it goes. Since it hadn't dried down much, I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's going to be any trouble. It sure didn't take any color out of it yet. I stopped and looked at it right before I decided to do this audio here. Now I'll start in on the round and round passes here. And we're off. I tell you, I can't believe how, or I never realized till I filmed with the drone here, because I'm always the one that mows hay. I think I'm the only one that's ever mowed hay or uses hay bine, and didn't realize how far it threw the hay back out behind it. Or some guys watching probably got some of them that'll throw it 10 feet behind the hay bine, but I think that didn't throw it very far. But we're just chucking alfalfa, it seems to. I didn't realize how far it tossed it back there. But I left enough room with the chutes where I can roll that stuff over onto dry ground, because that's what we got to do around here, is get the ground. If we put it down on wet ground or it gets rained on, you got to get it over onto the dry ground, let it lay a day, dry the ground, and then hope you got a good enough, or it's dry enough, and then roll it. You don't even really tet it, you just kind of roll the stuff half over onto the dry ground, and that's what it takes to get it dry, because it'll never dry the bottom half of the windrow. Soils are just too heavy around here. There were a couple bales of that grass hay I baled up last week to the cattle, and they seemed to like it a lot. I think it's just a different flavor, kind of give them something else to munch on, something a little more exciting than alfalfa, but give it a week, it'll be back to the alfalfa. The kind of interested to see how they do with the oats, because last year I'd run out of corn, I think, before I gave them the oats. They were just happy to get grain, so I want to see if they like the corn or the oats better. Oats will be easier eating, I think, a lot softer grain. Now coming up here when I turn the corner is kind of funny, not funny, but anyway, it's kind of cool. Now it's probably about on the other side of the field right here. The low battery light came on the drone. It was down to like 30% instead of higher. That's where I have the alarm set anyways, 30%. And I think it got down to 18%, and it decided it didn't want to fly anymore on its own. It didn't want to, since it was getting low on battery, it was going to have me fly it, or it wasn't going to do the follow me mode anymore. And about when I get up here to turn the next corner, the thing will actually set itself down on the ground, and I didn't know. I knew it would do it, but I would never really been brave enough to try it, to let it land itself by itself. And which you'll see it do it here in a minute. And it does a pretty good job, actually. It lands, just slowly starts going down and lands. I was rather impressed, and it makes me feel pretty good about it. If something would happen, it'd get out a signal or something. I know me and Howard Younger had talked about that with his drone, because he got the same one I do. And there it stopped, not following me, and here it goes. It's going to land. Thanks for watching.